Hello everyone and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon. I have a really goofy game for you guys today. My opponent and I are playing some rather strange decks. Noob player here is also known as Quicksilver. He and I have played semi-regularly, and I'm trying to play a deck that uses as many units that I don't normally play as possible. I just kind of wanted to goof around, have some fun with a friend of mine, and because of that, I'm playing Blue Marines, which is, yeah, well, it's a deck that exists, I guess, supposedly. And my opponent is playing Dutch-German Core Motorized. So two very unusual decks, hell in a very small place, which of course most people do consider mech favored, and I agree with that assessment as well. And, I mean, just look at this. We have double Sapur and Caspier K-Car going up into golf at the beginning. No recon, nothing like that. I have the Cobra to give some recon just to see if they're coming down the highway, which my opponent is not currently. And then we've got some sort of opener into Foxtrot here and a little bit going around into Bravo, trying to be a bit sneaky, as well as a Cheetah D. Now, I don't usually use the Cheetah D. I don't tend to play either South Africa or a nondescript blue something or other deck in the beginning, well, in ranked anyway, and even not really in team games either. So, yeah, I don't use it all that often, and I'm going to be trying to use it both as a seed plane and for its direct fire capabilities, which I believe are kind of goofy, but, you know, such is life. Now, Martyr VTS1, 25 points for front armor. I mean, yeah, here enough of them are good counters to Rover Wombats, but we still did get a little bit of value, not complete, not perfect, but some value off of that. And then I'm using the Super Cobra, and most people that I've heard comment on the Super Cobra say that the best way to use the Super Cobra is not to use the Super Cobra, but that's not even the weirdest thing, because on top of the Super Cobra, I bought a Tomcat. 155 points, 30% ECM, and incredibly long range fire and forgets. Those missiles are just truly ridiculous, and on Hell in a Very Small Place, I was hoping that the Tomcat might actually have a way to shine, because you call that out, and while your opponent's plane is almost immediately within range, it's ridiculous. So my hope was to do that, and then I have Sappers here just to block the way, because if I know I'm going against a Modo deck, I'm probably going to run into some sort of elite infantry sneak around this side, and Sappers are, I don't know if they're a great way of countering that, but they're the only way of countering that I have, because with Blue Marines, I don't have a lot of really infantry that can compete on that same sort of level. So yeah, a little bit unsure. Then we have Red sneaking through in Foxtrot already. We have Red pushing up in Golf, and I was surprised to see so many Grenadiers here and so many Martyr VTS1s. It's not what I think of when I think of a motorized deck. So this is being played out very differently from how I had expected, and I've even got two Centurion Avers just going in against the Martyr VTS1. Oh, this is beautiful. It's goofy stuff. It really is. Now we can see, by the way, one of the downsides of not having a unit of recon infantry here is I can't really see these guys very well. Ordinarily, if I had recon infantry in these town blocks, those guys would be revealed that shallow into the woods, and so I might be able to get some additional fire on them, and so far, so not great. Red is definitely out-trading me, and I have got a Captain Charlie, but, I mean, I don't know, we've picked up some things off the Super Cobra, but not a lot. The other thing I was hoping, by the way, Marines decks tend to live or die based off of the success of their planes, at least to a certain extent, and I was hoping the Super Cobra might be a backup anti-radar for me. So I have a seed plane on the deck, but the Super Cobra also does have seed missiles on it, which can just tell you the location, even if it doesn't give you a way of necessarily killing it. Now we get one hit, and the KWS gets out, but look at that. It's a really long-range 8 HE punch. I mean, that KWS nearly dead from really far away. I was quite happy with that, honestly. Caspier's here, looking for some easy kills, but Red is, of course, not going to be giving me anything like that for free. So, yeah, I don't know. It was definitely a little bit of a tough situation here. I don't really know how to push with this deck, and you can see that in my composition and in my board position. I'm mostly being forced into a reactive position here. Now, I am taking +2. This does mean even with Red capping Echo now, he has to push, especially because I kind of goofed a little bit, and we only have, well, 30 minutes total for the match, not 40, so it is a little bit quick, and because of that, there's less time to become established before you need to do something dynamic. So, yeah, a bit of a mistake there. It does also mean that the 117 points that I have are that much more impactful. This is, what, roughly 7-ish minutes worth of tick, and there's only 25 minutes left. Now, red is going for a little bit of an attempt on my base, and at the time I was sitting there going, oh no, please don't do this. But at least I figured those were empty, right? Because, I mean, why would they still be unloaded? Right? Yeah? Why would they be unloaded? Well, to get infantry into this section of town is why they would be, why they would be loaded. That's why. So my Commando Para think that their job is done because that vehicle died on the bridge, and instead there's Corps Mariner 95 there, and those guys are going to be a pain in my keister to get out. So I have the Super Cobra here, but it's not really great at direct fire. My Recon Cobra, I believe, was killed. Yeah, not great. So I call a Fighting Falcon, because I'm playing mech, right? That's what, I'm playing Marines, right? That's what Marines does. And we actually do pick up, as well, a helicopter over here. And that might not seem like much. It was just a Dornier. Those things are relatively cheap. But this is much more important in terms of me not losing Charlie, right? So this is how it seems anyway. And, well, we'll see what happens with this in just a second. But I was kind of surprised at the time. And the BTR 152 TCM definitely went up in my estimation because of this game. Now, Pod 2 Tiger coming. And we actually get the stun there. And then this thing just never stops shooting. So the Patsu Tiger's just flying into its stun because it can't do anything. We kill a Tiger. That's 140 points right there. This is a happy BTR. And that undoes a lot of the damage that, you know, having to buy that bomber. And then I thought that meant that maybe I had gotten the Corps Mariner. But you can notice I'm still being really suspicious here. So I have the M48A1s, the Super Cobra. And the Super Cobra, unfortunately, runs right into the tertiary on those guys. And, I mean, helicopters will absolutely demolish infantry if they can use their guns and their rockets. But yeah, no, not like that. I got way too close. The Super Cobra does not have armor. Oh, there's my Cobra. Yeah, that would have been smart if I had seen that during. Oof. Another goofy thing here. This is so close to my air spawn. The Fighting Falcon didn't have time to aim. So bombs don't drop. Fighting Falcon's going right down the pipe. And lucky to make it out alive. I also try shotgunning with the Cheetah D. I kind of wonder if there was the same aiming issue, because it didn't go, I fire positioned right here, and we went all the way up, and yeah, you know, I didn't shotgun it properly. There's a way to do that, but I had expected better accuracy than what I got, because even for not, you know, shotgunning it, so shotgunning it, you turn off the seed missiles, you fire position, and then once the plane starts to strafe, you turn the missiles back on, and then you get a closer range fire position off of those, but yeah, even without that, I usually get better accuracy than, you know, missing by a mile here. So, a little bit unsure what's going on there. So, Corps Mariner 95, Rima 85 here, and with the mini-me, these guys will actually hold their own as long as my opponent's infantry are in the open ground or overextending, something like that. But, more to the point, I don't really have control over Gulf. I don't really have control over Bravo. I only have a contested amount of control over Foxtrot, so this could be really painful if I don't get something else capped soon in order to just put pressure on my opponent to cap while he's also not certain, because he's lost a Tiger over here on this side, right? So red is trying to figure this out as well. Neither one of us are very happy on our flanks right now, so that's why I bought a CV with infantry. We're just trying to do that and then build up the Air Force. So we have Cheetah D, we have a Fighting Falcon, we are going to get those Grenadier, not with the Cheetah D again because I'm not very good at using that, but we do get it with the Fighting Falcon, so those guys are finally dead. They got their value back and 10 points additional by killing my Caspian Cake cars. But that's fine, at least they're dead right now, and I can build a defense around here, and then with the sappers on this side, I can be confident nothing has gone around this way. So that does give me some amount of control in Gulf, and the ability to potentially cap that if I feel like I really need to. So we'll do more on that later. Centurion Aver's really not in a great position here, 10RC not in a great position here, Gavarman not really in a great position here as well, but the 10RC, at least I figured, it can be a little bit finicky, but if you can go a little bit more to the left than I am, you can get decent line of sight on anything approaching. I think I was a bit too far in the woods though, so not exactly great in that regard. And then, when I say build up the Air Force, what I mean is I had wanted to have enough seed and enough strike planes where I can come in and I can bomb the heck out of something, and I can have some reasonable cover for my bombers, so that they don't get completely destroyed, because whenever I try playing like this, that's sort of my issue. I run the bombers out and don't really get much return for them, and then by the time that I have my seed plane set up, I don't really have a way of ensuring that I stay safe. So Tomcat coming in and No. Ooh, one hit off of that. Second Tomcat, 310 points in Tomcats, getting 140 points in KWS. So right there, by the way, even though I killed the KWS, that is nowhere near return on investment for the Tomcats. I'm still down 160 points on, effectively, well, not on, well, it's not that I'm down on trading. I'm debating doing a video about the economy of airplanes in this game, because sometimes you can force out your opponent's buy for this, sometimes you can't, and even when you get kills with something like double Tomcat, it's so expensive you still end up fighting on the back foot other places. So fighting Falcons here, trying to bomb this offensive and then trying to bomb whatever the heck that was, but this is a bit too late and the other a bit too shallow. So I do kill something. I think it was a Martyr VTS1. Cheetah D is not quick enough because the Roland 3 is well microed and it's still alive, and even takes out my Cheetah D. So not only am I behind by having bought an extra Tomcat for 155 points that I, haven't gotten return on, I lost a Fighting Falcon there, I lost a Cheetah D there, and in addition to just the points of those being very, very high, I've also lost my seed cover for my bombers. So I don't know, it was very, very rough indeed, and we're getting some, well, I guess revenge for it, I would say, off of the AMX FL-15s. They're 35 points each. The Corps Mariner here also very unhappy. It kind of, for a Brigadier General and a Colonel going at each other, this game felt very much like watching two newer players fight, because to a certain extent we both were trying to figure out, okay, what the heck are we supposed to do with what we've brought? I don't think noob player has done a lot of Modo, particularly this Modo, in quite a while, and it is an acquired skill and an acquired flavor of a deck, shall we say. It's not the same thing as on-spec at all, it's not the same thing as mech at all. It's one of the most unique competitive ways to play the game, I think, is with Modo, because it's incredibly powerful as long as you know what you're doing, but you can throw the game so incredibly easily. And I'm not saying right now we're having a throwing contest or anything like that, and I definitely have seen games that are, but I mean, look at the center of the board from me, right? I have the M48, I have AMX 10RC, FL-15 gets revenge on me by killing the Cactus, and then, yeah, what do I have in front of this command infantry now? Because I had a whole bunch of stuff, and then the stuff over there died, then the stuff over here died, and the stuff over there died, and now I've got nothing. Well, that's not exactly ideal. So I bring out the Tomcats. The whole point here was just to threaten another bombing run too. It's like I'm not even sure I had the bombers to do this at the moment, because the other Fighting Falcon, I believe, is still rearming. This was just a stay away, so don't bomb me, and maybe be aware that I have stuff in the air. And you can kind of see some return on this potentially. I'm curious what Quicksilver's rationale was for retreating the Corps Mariner, but it might not have been those. It might have been seeing the US Marines come out as well. Now, Seppers on this side actually really surprised me. Grenadiers, yeah, they should be able to handle, but the PWI does have 2 front and 1 armor all around in other locations, and they're still killing it. And I think they weren't even killing it by directly firing at it. I think they were killing it by having it stand on top of fire, which is really goofy. Because that still will damage even heavily armored vehicles if they're standing on the napalm, right? Like, this is not ideal for anybody. So we actually kill the Grenadiers, we kill their wheeled transport as well. It's not quite return on investment. The PWI is only 10 points, but it was kind of funny, right? And I'll take funny. If I can't take good, at least I'll take funny. So Flickerfoss 2 versus Cobra, and we do get the kill, but that guy fired posthumously, I swear. Because that, I mean, they were dead. This is dead, but they were already earlier dead. I don't know. It was, oh man. These are the sorts of games, honestly, that really make me chuckle, because I don't know, it's not like it's high stakes or anything like that. Sometimes ranked can get a little bit sweaty. This one honestly felt the most like a team game of any 1v1 I've played in a long time, just because, I mean, we were just hanging out, we were just enjoying what it is Wargame Red Dragon has to offer, and I think from that perspective it's quite a lot. So, FL-12's here, and something else behind it. Turns out these are just Rovers, I believe. And yeah, because of that, I lose 30 points in transports, and my Marines 25 points apiece. Very much not happy with this decision. Yeah, just neck-offs right there. Fighting Falcon comes out, and we will at least get some revenge. 55 points worth of kills on our side, and quite a lot on theirs. I think 55. Yeah. My other Marines are damaged, but it's an otherwise even trade. That's pretty goofy. 55 points of kills for red, 55 points of kills for blue, And basically we've achieved nothing out of this, not really. So there's an escort, and I'm a little bit scared of this because the escort here can really, really wreck my US Marines, and that's not something I want. These guys for 65 points are not broken, but they are very good. So the M230 is a pretty nice autocannon. The Hydra rocket pods are, of course, amazing at mulching infantry, and I was really hoping that the K-cars could get the kill there, but I mean, we got most of a kill, right? We got 6 points of damage in. It's just that this is an 8-strength helicopter, so yeah, 6 is not equal to 8, guys. Learn your math. It's good. On the other hand, this is an opportunity. So Corps Mariner 95 are also very expensive. They're more expensive than my US Marines in a vacuum, not with the transport necessarily, because these guys just come in PWIs, but LVTP 7A1s will wreck these guys in the open, and they were actually enough of a distraction where the escort's rocket pods are not going to their best use at the moment, because their best use is killing the US Marines. They'll do that much more effectively than they will the LVTP, although, I mean, as we can see, they'll still get that done as well. So we mop up the Corps Mariner, and that at least gives me some trading there that didn't completely suck. And then this is, well, it's not your normal use for a fighting Falcon, but all I needed was one hit, and I figured if I could save all those US Marines, I may as well try. So that was the attempt there. It does cost me the fighting Falcon, and yet again, not worth it. And yet again, I'm losing planes because I didn't bring seed, because that was at least one Roland 3 in the back. I think also a Hawk Hios, which is interesting to see that DGC Modo gets the Hawk Hios. It's definitely tracked, there's no wheels on that. But, I don't know, sometimes unit selection doesn't make a ton of sense here. I mean, why can you get Recluse rifle jeeps and mechanized, oftentimes? That doesn't really make many sense. They're unarmored wheeled jeeps, right? Who decided this was a good idea? So, anyway, Corps Mariners, 95, more of them, 2 healthy groups, and we're going to be pulling back the US Marines, but these guys are damaged, they are panicked, they are not happy, they are slower because of that, and it's taking, quite a lot of time for me to get back. In fact, enough time that enemy artillery has time to shoot in, and I do enjoy phasing right through the hill here, but, yeah, no, that was even more damage. Not exactly a good idea. The one saving grace, and probably something I should have used earlier, Blue Marines gets the K1. And this is a tank that Modo can't really deal with symmetrically. So they can deal with it. Planes can deal with it. ATGMs can deal with it. Enough volume of fire can deal with it. But what I mean by symmetrically is that Modo decks can't take a tank and just throw it at this and hope that it trades well in a vacuum with minimal micro required. So my K1 here is very much, 17 front. 16 AP is not amazing, but 17 front is a tough nut to crack for the sorts of guns that Red can bring with him just by virtue of being a Modo deck. So there, double miss off the Cheetah D, Kurnos comes in, and boom boom. But I'm not even sure I hit anything, so actually let's check that. Yeah, okay, we did. We definitely hit something there. Fine, I mean that's good, at least. I have trouble with hitting things with my bombers. It's really not something I'm amazingly skilled at doing. So you'll notice as well that we did see the cap up here at the time, but I didn't know it was there. So this crater is from earlier, I believe, from the Fighting Falcon. Yeah, because we still have the other crater. No, do we? Interesting. Was I shooting something? Huh. I don't know, that might have been more recent, but I was just kind of looking for a CV, which is not genteel, but, it's Wargame, we're not going to be genteel. Here's an interesting engagement. Corps Mariner 95, 35 points, US Marines. Now, 15 men originally versus 6, but the US Marines are trading incredibly well here in terms of not points invested, 75 versus 35, but the number of men remaining. So this is, I think, a really nice demonstration of the damage reduction that people get in woods. And also just the virtue of, it's a little bit goofy, but those 6 men had 3 times as many guns as the Corps Mariners that were approaching. So, yeah, I lost 2 squads, he lost 1, from that perspective, not worth it. On the other hand, 6 men held off 15, and I prevented him from getting Corps Mariner 95, some of the best infantry in the entire game, down into my forward lines again. Because if I had had to retreat out of here again with nothing to show for it, that probably would have been pretty close to just game over there. Even though it's, it's 170 to 38 because of the condensed timer, there's not a lot of time for my opponent to tick +1, but there are opportunities for him to tick +1 because I have nothing in Bravo, and he can definitely countercap Golf. In fact, I think we do see that before the game's over, but there's only 1 minute and 33 left, so we might do, we might not. Peace Shrine here, and this is what I was saying about the Tomcats range being really, really nice on this map in particular. It's how do you avoid the range on that? Right, so we do draw out a missile. Tomcat gets doinked by 9. That's going to be from a Hawk Hios, and this thing's stunned over BTR 152 TCM. So, hey, you know, maybe I'll try out some of these cheap AA pieces more often, because this guy is doing really, really nice work. I mean, granted, that was a plane flying directly over, but it still did 2 points of damage incredibly quickly. I was very happy with that. Very pleased. It's one of the things I recommend, actually. If you build a deck and you think you have it just how you like it, watch for the units that you don't actually call out, because my guess is there are some. Some of my favorite decks that I think I have just how I like them, I'll play 10 matches with them, and I'll never call out one of those units. And then, you know, not all the time. Sometimes it's worth keeping. But sometimes it's also worth saying, hey, is there something else I can put in here that would get me more flexibility that I would actually use? And here is the engagement that ends the game. So I lose a Kurnos, but I fire the other Kurnos, and this Cheetah D was manually microed here. So we're going to have one missile away to the Hawk Pip 2, and then this is also radar. It's a roll-in 3, and we're going to get the other missile away onto the roll-in 3. Now, I don't know if this was made easier by losing sight there. It possibly was. But with the Kurnos, we checked 2 CV positions right here and right here. Right here we found the CV, and right there we blew up 2 units of radar anti-air, and with that, that is going to be a surrender from the Red 4 team. And I don't really blame him. With the time we had left, with me taking +1, that was going to be a difficult thing to come back from. Especially because I still do have a Kurnos, and if he CVs up again, I could probably at least do my best to hit it one more time. In terms of trading, 1835 to 1695, I'm only positive because of that last engagement, where even though we lost to Kurnos, I still did end up getting more out of it than I lost, just because of the CV kill. And I think the 2 radar AA pieces added up to more than the Kurnos as well. So, could have been worse there. Definitely could have been worse. Avers doing some goofy stuff. Super Cobra, you know, it killed a Jaguar, it killed some stuff. I mean, it wasn't useless, and this is a helicopter I often write off as useless. Of course, it wasn't useful for its seed missiles. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna come out and say I recommend this still. I'm far from it. I don't recommend you take the Super Cobra. But I was pleasantly surprised. Also pleasantly surprised by Rima 85 that I don't usually use as well. Those Fuchs Milans that we were able to get these guys to shoot at, I don't even think I mentioned it during the game really, but it was visible on the screen. Yeah, they were full. So, very, very nice stuff from Rima 85. And that's going to be all we've got for you guys today, so thank you all for hanging around. We'll see you again real soon.